Hi, everyone. This is Shannon Port, and I just ran up to my seat and looked down and couldn't believe how many people were in the comments already. Wow! I'll take a quick peek and then we'll start. I just want to see who's here. I've been missing people, and I go back and look at them, and I see everyone, and I'm just like, wow! Nice to see you. Nice to see all of you. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Welcome. Welcome to day 4 of our 21-day uh, Goddess, I Am Goddess meditation and activation for the month of December. We are working our way through the month. We started on December 1st, and we're working up to the 21st, which will be the December solstice, and it's always a powerful time of year. The solstices and the equinoxes truly align with higher energies and within our consciousness and even in the physical world. But this one is special because we're at the end of the cycle and we've also had a really powerful year, and we're opening another gate as we walk through into 2021. Almost everyone can feel it has to be a different energy because every year is a different archetype. And so it opens up the platform to receive different energies. And this past archetype, really with Uranus and Taurus, and with all of the things that we faced globally and politically and financially, really humbled the human race and it opened our hearts on some level, but it also created some chaos in the subconscious realms and in our relationships collectively. And so today we're going to talk about vision. We'll talk about vision, and please let me know where you're tuning in from. And this is how we'll do it. Today's video will be a bit shorter. I've been saying that every day. Somebody wrote to me yesterday and said, Shannon, you said these videos would get shorter and they're getting longer, but I'm truly going to. In fact, I'm going to look at the time. All right, we'll make them a little shorter today and moving forward, because I'd like you to be able to tune in and just go for it. Take 15 or 20 minutes out of your day and realign. And so everything you might need to know, I'll leave in the description box. Any links to anything that involves getting a hold of me, you can find in the description box underneath the video for today. And so that being said, I ask you to invite your friends or anyone who might benefit from these meditations, because they're really meant to spread some powerful love at this time, and to just ignite people with the idea that we have options. And that's what our activation is about today. We have options. We don't have to go down a certain stream just because the outer images are projecting that to us. Today's meditation, we're going to talk about how we create our vision, and how vision is the alchemy of what we see and what we hear, and how we take that in. Once it comes into us, what do we do with it? So it has a lot to do with reacting. Today is Friday, and Friday is ruled by Venus. It's also the 4th day of the month. And so we have Uranus highlighted with the number 4. 4 is the number of matter, and it also represents the mastery of matter and the forces of nature of matter. And so all of our human vehicle is controlled by the 5 senses. We call it the envelope of the soul, and some people even call it the bondage of the soul. The number 5 represents the fall into matter in the mystical teachings and in all of the lineages, because it represents the soul energy going so far down that we became a prisoner of our own sensual appetites. So think of the 5 senses and think of how everything we take in and how we use this vehicle and this consciousness has to do with what we're taking in on a daily basis. And then We create it in our mind because we think all the time. And so vision is not just outer vision, but it's also our inner vision. Art of the Feminine platform, which is my Facebook platform and Instagram platform, was created um, with the archetype of the divine feminine alchemy in mind, and the and art and the power. And that's why I work with a lot of visionary artists. Art and visual images have a lot of power on our consciousness. We're artists and we're creators, and so what we see and take in affects our heart and it affects our mind. And so therefore it affects our nervous system, which is the key to everything, because once something gets our nervous system moving through our thoughts, through our intake, it begins to affect our emotions and our heart energy, the divine feminine energy we talked about yesterday. And that energy begins to create our reality. We have a feeling about what we see, and this whole world now is amplified with visual images because most of us spend a great deal of our time on technology. And so what we will do, I'm going to just do a brief review of day 1, day 2, day 3, not even a review, just touch on the points. And then we'll go into vision and we'll do a little meditation to go into the heart and just consciously program that so that we begin to have a different relationship with the outer world and understand that our true authority and mastery of this, which is my home in this lifetime, and this, my auric field, comes from my inner parent and my inner authority. We tend to think of, when you think about it, we tend to place our parent archetypes onto things like our leaders, and even our jobs. We give that authority to those things that are ruled by the sign Capricorn, those institutions that make laws and that govern us. We tend to, deep within, we tend to somehow feel as that's our parent, and Capricorn represents the father. But when we wake up, and that's what this whole 21-day meditation is about, we begin to understand that our real parent is inside of us. Our true authority is on the inside. And that just means it's our inner hearing, it's our inner vision, it's our inner willpower, it's our inner feeling force. And so this whole human journey about rising up and becoming liberated, as they say in the East, liberation, as the yogis call it, is really about it's really about finding the inner parent and becoming your own inner parent so that you can take care of the inner child, which has carried the wound throughout this whole cycle. And so, all right, day 1, we talked about the body. If you haven't seen those videos, I recommend that you go back. If you have a chance and you're interested, this is all about the divine feminine wisdom. We work with the wisdom of the goddess and the divine feminine on this channel. Day 1, we talked about the body as our vehicle, and we talked about healing the body and taking care of the body. Day 2, we talked about consciousness as the ethereal, vital energy of the soul in the body, but it's way, way, way beyond the body. So we talked about how those two are merged. We have this physical container, matter, material, mother, with consciousness, which is the greater expression, the true energy of the soul. And then yesterday, day 3, we talked about the divine feminine energy of the heart and our emotional body. And today we're talking about vision, how we use these energies. And I also recommend watching The Message from the Goddess if you're new to this work. I'll just say this, and it's the trailer video on the channel, and the Goddess Report for December 2020 was kind of an intro to this whole meditation. And so I'll take one look down and then we're going to go in. Namaste. Namaste. I love it. I love the variety. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Oh my gosh. So nice to see all of you. Oh my gosh. Where are you? Let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay. So Today, let's talk about our vision. And so I'm just going to have you, first of all, just take a moment. Let's start with I am, and then we'll go into the deeper meditation. And again, I'm going to look at the time. Okay, I'm going to be good today. All right, so we'll start with I am. I am kicks off our vision. We're just going to own our container right now. So you can take whatever. I have various rituals I do with this I am. But today, I just want you to bring your hands into a diamond mudra. You can place it right in front of your heart. It has a royal feeling to it. You are royal. And so just take a moment and say that to yourself. I am royal. I am of royal lineage. I am nobility. I am a divine child of this universe. I am the divine Trinity. Within me, within my vessel, exists the creative power of Source, of God and Goddess, of the primordial masculine and feminine creative powers of the cosmos. I'm here to remember my royal lineage. I'm here to awaken. I'm here to love. I'm here to love myself and to know myself, that I might love others with the full power of creation, my divinity. I humbly bow at this time to the altar of my heart and the inner goddess. That it may be revealed to me what the highest use of my creative power is at this time and in this lifetime. How am I here to serve at this time? What is my greatest expression of love, wisdom, and power on the planet? How can I refine my vision so that I may vision a new world? A world where we know unity, and a world where we know our individual, unique expression. A world where we harmonize and make music. A world where we enjoy our creative powers. A world where we know both the masculine as well as the feminine aspects of life. We know the quiet of the inner temple and the inner vision, as well as the divine dance of the outer world and the sensual expressions. And so now, just repeating after me, I want you to see the sun lighting up your auric field and just emanating from your heart. Remember, we talked about the sun and the energy within being a correspondence of our breath and of the divine logos power. It's also an activator of the central pillar of our consciousness that balances and harmonizes the right and left pillar. And so as we see this coming into our field, what's happening is that we're merging the above and the below. We're merging spirit and matter. We're creating what's called a Star of David in our auric field. And that's what the intention of this mantra is. It brings the higher energies, the higher trinity, into union with the lower trinity, right in our heart chakra. And so repeating after me. I am before me. I am behind me. I am at my left. I am at my right. I am above me. I am below me. I am unto me. And now take a really deep breath in. And if you've been here for the past few days and you have an intention of what you would like to bring with you into the age of Aquarius as we cross over at the solstice, just activate that intention in your heart, in your mind right now. And if you're new today, just bring an intention into your heart of what you would like to create in this time that we're gathered today. And now exhaling all your breath out. And we will activate the three great fires of the divine, the spiritual, and the physical with I am, I am, I know I am. I am, I am, I know I am. All right. All right. So, this is so powerful, and I could feel so many people having that experience. That mantra is so simple. It was birthed several years back, and it's been said thousands and maybe tens of thousands of times by all the people that have taken part in it. And that is the reminder for vision. After you do something that simple, that kind of an alignment, your vision is activated because we activate the vision, we activate the feeling, we activate the actions. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are those three um, levels of our divine activity as a human being, and you shift. And so we'll go into vision just a little bit longer. And so we are being influenced every day, more than ever before, with visual images and news and social media, images that invoke sexuality, images that invoke power, images that invoke bondage and fear, images that touch our self-worth, images that stir up those carnal desires as well as those carnal survival energies that are inside of us, we're here as we have an animal side, and we're meant to be able to survive. And so we're tuned in. Our radar is aware of danger, and it's aware of contraction, and it's aware of a threat. And so because of the times we're in, well, first of all, the first part of the year had to do with health and also subconscious fears and polarity and agreeing on, it's the whole science and spirituality kind of harmonizing that needs to be done, because when we're talking about our health and we're talking about a global crisis, we're talking about we need to have good relationship with our hard sciences, but we also need to have wisdom. We also need to have the intuitive feminine wisdom of the soul, because we're going to see what we believe. And so if we get caught up going down a stream where everything is being steered on the outer by outer knowledge and by earth 3D knowledge, but we somehow surrender our own inner feeling, our own inner intuitive wisdom, we get off balance. And so we might be truly and sincerely, intentionally looking for healing and looking for solutions. And there's a very relevant part to sort of that masculine left brain, very hard, evidential, factual, 3D, I can see it kind of technology. But we know now already with in the quantum field and quantum physics that what we can see and measure is only part of the story. We are infinite creative beings, and our consciousness, all of the things we're talking about today, have to do with the power of our inner will and our inner vision, and how we can become healers, activators, how we can create a new projection. But we have to have our heart energy intact. We have to own our own creative power before we can participate on that with the higher levels. Otherwise, we're in a system that has a lot of good in it, but there's more to it. And so the goddess report and this daily goddess daily meditation that we're doing is about, this is a time where there's more wisdom coming into the planet. And it's not about the war that's happening in the outer world, because there's a lot of differences in opinions right now, and there's a lot of fear. And we see that in politically at the divide, and we see that in many, many ways. But we can look at that with reason and wisdom and a little detachment and say, okay, this is what's happening. Sometimes we get really involved. I've had times where I'm really involved in it. And then I watch how I'm really good when I get involved, but I also lose some of my power, because if I hand myself to the fully arguing on that level or having the debate, my soul power drops, meaning the expansiveness of the ability to kind of call in higher visions and energy, it blocks out a little bit. And I get to have those experiences because I get to verify. It's called verification. When we realize how powerful we are, because you get to see the juxtaposition between being in 3D all the way and being in union with the above and the below. It's night and day. The reality is night and day. And so we're here to talk about our vision. I was thinking about, this came in, I was thinking about watching something like Game of Thrones. So I think it was last year, I was a little bit late to it, but I've watched it all in 1 month with my son, and which was crazy. But there was so much violence, and so much, sexuality just combined with violence. I mean, most of it was sexuality combined with violence and combined with the carnal appetite. But it was so archetypal. I thoroughly enjoyed it, even with the overstimulation of that. And it was hard at first because I hadn't been watching a lot of television, and the violence has increased. The graphicness has gotten more and more and more and more. I tried to explain to my son, I said, you have no idea, even on HBO and even on, paid television, when I was your age, they just did not take it. They could not take it this far. This is almost going all the way beyond, what would be illegal. But what is shown, those images, what I realized is that the human race, it's time for us to see that, because we're not beyond that. We are not beyond doing those things. In fact, after reading The Darkening Age, which I talked about in the last video, we do those things. That is closer to reality than we might think. When you go back through history, and reading about the torture, how human beings have just accepted torture of the human body in the human vehicle is astounding, and it's a very real. It's very much a part of our history, and even now it's removed. It's more in what we watch and take in, and in the hidden corners, it's happening, and it's happening more than we realize, much more than we realize. But that violence towards children and towards the feminine side of all beings, it could be towards women, and it could be towards when the male vehicle is expressing the feminine and very much punished for that. In fact, there was so much torture in that, so hard to watch, but you almost go beyond it and you realize a couple things. You realize that this material form isn't all there is. We go beyond, we watch it until we go beyond to the other side. But you also realize that the human soul is so precious. The humanness of going through that, we've all probably in various times suffered a degree of all of this. We all know it. It activates those archetypes, which are visions inside our subconscious mind, and it brings them back to life. I believe at this time, everything is coming in at that level because we're being reminded of what we're capable of as animals. The lower side of human nature can slip just like that. It can just go down. We're seeing some profound shifts happen right now in the geopolitical, and I believe it's going to continue to shift in a more rapid way entering into 2021. But things can go when change comes, it comes very fast. The saying Rome fell in a day is very true. So right now, understanding what I wanted to bring in for today is to understand that our vision is about understanding our capacity for the animal side and the divine side. We need both to occupy this physical body. We can't be in the physical body without some lower energies. It's not possible. In fact, the saying is, if you have a physical body, you still have karma. So what that means is that this body is coded to work out karma on the zodiac, on the wheel. We come in with a certain program. We have to work it out whether we want to or not. Now, if we have a great and rapid awakening, we can clear a lot of it. But that's why looking at an astrological chart is so profound. And the more you do it, I've been doing this for years and years and years. I can, in fact, when I look at a chart, and I know a lot of people who do this kind of work, and that's not even my only work, but I've just been doing it for so long. I can feel the energy of it. It talks, it's a living entity. When you look at a chart, you almost can start to see all the live times. You can see all the animalistic side, the divine side alive. It's breathing. It has life force in it because it's a program, and it's in the field, and it contains our memory. It contains the Akashic record of our soul. But the soul is so much. The soul cannot be confined to that blueprint at all. In fact, that's why I work with the galactic core codes, because the soul is infinite, but there's something beautiful about having a limited expression, because it gives us the opportunity to experience things. So right now, I want to go back in. I'll take a look down, and we'll finish with a little more meditation on this. We want to, I wrote down this quote. This is a Krishnamurti quote that's used a lot. And it came to me while I was thinking of this. I want to say it, and then I want to give a little of my take on it. This is a famous quote that we see a lot. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And he said that way back. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So, and I believe what he meant, it gets used in a way that kind of validates being mad and angry and in victim consciousness. Sometimes I see it used that way to justify, staying stuck at that level. But I believe he meant the denial, and that's the lower vision. That just means when you're seeing things, you're seeing beyond the truth of things, and you're just okay with it. You're not seeing from the awakened state where you understand the imbalance. You're not awake yet, and that has that could go for a lot of the population on Earth. Um, but when we have true vision, it's not that we're well adjusted to a sick society. Not at all. We're just becoming conscious creators of a healthy society, and we have awareness of why it's sick in the first place. If we know why we're sick in the first place, we have the key. We have the golden key to all of the energies that we are privy to begin to, first of all, own who we are and be okay with it and not need everyone to recognize this. It's great when people do. It's great when we do have our close inner circle, or when a stranger comes along, or when people we work with come along. It's beautiful, but it waxes and wanes like the moon. The feminine energy is often feared also because it waxes and wanes. It gives and then it takes away. It gives and then it takes away. And the female form is very aligned with that energy. And so things are fleeting. Just when you think you can grab it, it disappears. That's what this world is about. It's built on the lunar foundation, and so everything comes and goes in form. We have to find the permanent within. I'm going to take a breakdown, just a break for a second, and then we'll finish out. Oh, nice to see you. Love the doves. Love the doves right now. Yes, to be balanced in both the spiritual and the material. Says, Nesreen, I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm not sure exactly if that's a teaching or something, but I'm curious. Violence towards the innocent. Oh, exactly. That's the program. So that's the program. Let's just talk. We'll take a moment. We'll go to the dark side for just a moment. So, and I used to go to the dark side all the time. I try to keep it pretty balanced now, but meaning in our viewing of it. Innocence, exactly. We are afraid because we see the constant repetition of the punishing of the innocent. It just seems as if you're good, you can't get ahead, or if you're good, you'll be taken from, or you'll be used, or you won't have money, or you won't have what you need. All the good people are striving, and that it's time for us to tip that balance, and so that we can become true protect. We are really the parent of our own innocence, because I don't want to give up my innocence, and to believe that everything is wrong and bad and dead in this world and shadow like in this world would be to lose my innocence. Think about a child. I think about a child, and I always talk about that movie with the child in the concentration camp, the Nazi concentration camp, that whose father taught him to make believe a different world, and to come into to bring something that was horrific into balance through the creative imagination. So this is what we're being called to do, because the creative imagination has much more power. And that is our innocence. If we don't have our innocence, we lose that ability. We're taught when we're a child that our imagination is just silly, and we're encouraged on some. The schools don't encourage it anymore. I will say that. Speaking of, I've been in. You've had a lot of conversations around this in the recent years, and said, well, what are you being, are you encouraged to think outside the box, or to go, to be someone who creates a whole new theory or has a whole new vision? When I was growing up, and I went to Catholic school in my grade school, and I remember, even though it was religious, we were taught it was brilliant to think outside the box and to be the different one and to have a new idea. And that it was those people that were celebrated and honored always were the ones that didn't go with the flow, but they had their own idea. That is something that has kind of been pushed to the side a little bit now, unless you're in like a specialty art school or something like that. And even then, things have changed. I've asked my own son, and he was joking. He said, "Well, I think I might have said this in another video." He said, "You're include. They might say that, but then they let you know there's an answer. To you can think outside it, but there's a." He said, "There's a right answer to thinking outside it." So it's a little bit different in the creative imagination. It can't be stifled or blocked or controlled. It has to come from within us. And so if we don't have that part of our education or upbringing that encourages that, we're dampening the soul power, and we're meant to understand. Speaking of the inner world, the material world, and the inner world, we're meant to vision that and merge reality of science and this physical world that has its own laws of physics with the creative, intuitive, inner. That's art. That's what art is. An artist is receiving, when you see real art, that is just real art will make your heart vibrate. Now everyone has their own idea, but when I've stood before, in fact, I stood before this painting that's behind me, and it's alive, just like we talked about the zodiac being alive. It's alive. Because it's been created by that organic consciousness. And so it has soul energy in it. Something that is bound through a very brain energy that's only processing through. And some of the intellectual art was very much like that too. It's a little more earthbound. But then some of it does tap into the geometry and the math of the cosmos. But true art is the receiving of spirit and creating a form that will be a container or a vessel for that information, and share it with the world. And so we'll finish on that note. Our vision is meant to come from our inner art, which is our inner alchemy. And so I'm just going to have everybody. I'll take one more look down, and then we'll start to close out. Good morning. Oh, nice to see you. Austria. Nice. Center of the universe. Okay, Sweden, Canada, Germany, Australia, Calgary. Wow. Germany again. Germany again. Wow. Germany again. Wow. Wow. Oh, there's a lot happening there in Germany, by the way, right now. There's so much happening. Okay, we'll close out for today, and we're going to continue. We could go on and on and on. Stephanie, nice to see you. Oh my gosh, nice to see you. Oh, I'm seeing so many people. Okay, I have to get back to this. I'll look at all the comments afterwards. So this is what we're here for. This is why vision today. This is why I titled it Heart Vision. I want us to be able to be aware of the outer world and take part in it. There's a lot happening right now, and it's gone a little crazy because there's so much that's been hidden, and there's so many levels of how the outer world is ruled, and so much of it is behind closed doors. So we try to pry in at it, but it's hard to get the whole picture. But we have to be careful not to lose track of this when we engage in that, because once we engage in that, we're playing 3D. We're more in the 3D, unless we bring this with us, and we're making that divine art to heal and shift the world. I think that we are meant to. Well, we're creating the new alongside the old, and so just take a moment. I want you to go into your heart. I want you to bring your attention onto the most beautiful vision you know in your life of yourself, what you love the most, what brings you the greatest joy, or maybe something you've created, something that has been purely from your heart energy, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and you birthed it into form, something that it makes you so happy. When we do this, it's our mission. It's why we're here. Sometimes we get doubts and we have self-doubt. That's part of it. So don't ever give up on your dreams and your visions, ever, because self-doubt comes, trust me, it comes harder the higher you go. The more profound of work you're bringing in, the more profound the dark will give you a big old whammy of doubt. Oh, it's so funny. Once you can see it, you can laugh at it. But I want you to think about what it is that's your greatest vision right now. And if you haven't birthed it yet and you want to birth it, call it into your heart. Think about what it's like to be infinite and to not be limited by some of the darkness and some of the despair and the suffering. If you knew you could access this infinite part of your being right now and tell others about it and share it, and you just see people coming into joy, people drop their burdens and they come with you. It's like that the Christ image, what's that biblical saying? Drop everything and follow me. It's archetypal. Drop everything and follow me. A lot of the lineages, the spiritual guru lineages, took it literally and said, "Give up all your possessions in all your money and come follow me." It works sometimes, but it's an archetypal. It's archetypal wisdom. Shed everything that's bound you and follow the sun within, which is your true vision. And so now, if there was one limitation you would drop or one outer vision that has stunted you or blocked you, what is it? Just going to call it in and say bye-bye, so long. But first see it. We give you permission today to just let that one go. If you're embattled with something in the outer world and it's usurping your energy, how could you let that go and take back your power so that you can create and project and not just be absorbent of all the lower frequencies? What is it that you need to release right now? And so just take a moment. Let's go into our heart energy for a moment. And just forgive yourself for a moment. Forgive yourself for the mistakes. Forgive yourself for any relationship mishaps that we've had along the way. We're here to learn with each other and love each other. Just take a moment to forgive yourself. True forgiveness awakens our vision. In fact, if you've ever had a moment of forgiving someone, the world will look different. It's like when you fall in love. All of this is about falling in love. What our true spiritual path is a permanent state of falling in love. And so when we forgive ourselves, we fall in love with everyone. And then we have more authenticity and more mastery and more inner authority to handle this world, because we knew when we came here it wouldn't be easy. We knew that we'd have some headaches. We knew that there'd be some problems, some losses, some pain. The soul knew it would experience a lot of pain. And we all do. And this is a time right now even to forgive our pain and to thank it for whatever it's brought us, whatever the gifts of this 2020 have been. Honor them. 2020 is a 4, by the way, and today is the 4th. We're going to honor the gifts of 2020, ask to send healing to all those who are in positions of power and leadership, that they begin to just be moved by the higher light on this planet right now. Perhaps if they're ready, they may even feel the energy of this meditation and just begin to stimulate their own heart and drop some of the burdens of the false beliefs of the outer world that have brought a lot of pain and suffering. And so now we send them love. We send them forgiveness too. And we know that as we go forward today and further into the month of December, we have our divine powers lit and ignited and ready to go as we pass through this portal, this solstice portal in December. And so that being said, I'm enjoying being here. Again, I did a long video. I think I know how to do it, and I'm going to try to make them a little bit shorter for those of you who plan to be here with me every day. But I'm so honored. It's such a blessing to connect. Anytime we connect with people that come gathered in love, we amplify our light on the planet, and we build a connection. Some say it's an egregore of energy that is a living, breathing body of light on this planet. And so it's no small thing. There's a lot of meditations happening this month. I invite you to really find your own inner. We talked about that in the first couple of videos, but make use of it. This is the time. There's a new world waiting for all of us. And even though there may be some hardship, the new world, and that's what we want to keep that excitement going. And so, does anybody have any questions or anything you want to say to close it out? Oh, thank you. I know I don't plan to talk. I just, it's a stream for sure. So, oh, thank you. Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and you guys are nice. Your appreciation is appreciated. All right. I hope to see you tomorrow. I think I'll do 3 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, please come back. Please like the video. Please come back and leave comments if there's anything you would like to share. If you would like to share how you're experiencing this, I would love to hear about it. And I look at all the comments. Subscribe if you would like to receive the notifications. Tell your friends. And I'm so grateful for you. And I bow to you today with love, wisdom, humility, power, and a vision of who you really are. And I will see you tomorrow. Namaste. Thank you.